Previously on the proposal that wasn't.
I don't know, and honestly I don't care. She's probably somewhere enjoying her poor miserable life.
Welcome to episode 3, Collision of Fates. Turned was shocked at his response but decided to keep quiet and not ask further questions, which will lead to Jide's nasty response. Meanwhile, Oma was in the market buying foodstuffs when she overheard some market women talking about Jide's wedding. One woman in particular walked up to her and asked what she was doing in the market on the day of her best friend's wedding. The news struck her like a dagger. She rushed home in tears, collapsing into her grandmother's arms. When she asked what was wrong, choking back sobs, Oma only said, I miss my parents. Her grandmother held her, comforting her as best she could. 2 days later, Oma went out to get her grandmother's medicine. In her absence, Jide's mother visited their home. She told Oma's grandmother she heard about her illness, but she was too busy preparing for her son's wedding. That's why she didn't find any spare time to come. Oma's grandmother asked, whose wedding, 3 times, and each time, Jide's mother replied, my son's wedding. Realization dawned on Oma's grandmother, her face growing pale as she recalled how Oma's happy look faded since the day of the proposal. She thought her granddaughter was worried sick about her, but now it all made sense. The late night cries and Oma looking like a ghost of herself now made sense. She knew Oma was suffering in silence just to protect her from heartache. Her frail heart couldn't take the shock, and she collapsed on the spot. Jide's mother, flustered, rushed out, leaving Oma's grandmother lying on the floor. When Oma returned, she found her grandmother unconscious. She hurriedly called Mr. Kenneth, a chemist around their home, to help. But after checking her grandmother, he broke the sad news to the already heartbroken Oma. Her beloved grandmother was dead. As soon as Oma heard him say that, she fainted. Devastated, Oma buried her grandmother next to her parents with the support of the community, who mourned alongside her, knowing how much she had endured. At the graveside, Oma whispered through tears, thank you for everything, Nana. I promise I carry your love with me and honor your dreams for me. Jide heard of Oma's grandmother's death but remained indifferent, caught up in his new life. He had long forgotten the kindness Oma's grandmother had shown him, the countless times she had treated him like her own grandchild. In the silence of her loss, Oma stood alone, her heart filled with grief and resilience, vowing to move forward with the memory of her grandmother's love as her guide. 1 month later, Oma, in pains, made the decision to move from her childhood home and relocate to Abuja City to start her life. She cried bitterly all through the drive. She arrived the city, she used the little money she got from people that came to sympathize with her during her grandmother's funeral to rent a small apartment. She started sending her CV to different hospitals searching for a job. After 5 months of searching, she landed herself a job in one of the biggest hospitals in Abuja. 2 years later, Oma was now a successful doctor, saving lives and helping those in need. She had become someone important, respected, and self-sufficient. In contrast, Jide's life began to unravel. After he married the girl of his dreams, he was thrilled to start this new chapter. He started working in his parents' company. For a while, their life together seemed perfect. Jide believed he had everything he'd ever wanted, a home, a wife, and the promise of a family. But soon, cracks began to show. His wife had a taste for luxury, always seeking the finest things. At first, Jide didn't mind, he wanted to make her happy. But her demands grew relentless. She would buy designer clothes, lavish jewelry, and go on weekend shopping sprees, never once considering their finances. Jide worked long hours to keep up, exhausting himself to meet her every desire. Over time, the tension between them grew. His wife's extravagance drained their accounts, yet she seemed oblivious to their financial troubles. Whenever he confronted her, she would wave him off, insisting he was just being stingy. Jide felt a growing emptiness, longing for the genuine connection he once had with Oma. One night, Jide returned home unexpectedly early. He found his wife and his younger brother, Connor, laughing together on the couch. They seemed startled by his sudden appearance, quickly covering their unease with nervous laughter. Jide brushed it off, thinking he was just overreacting. They were family, after all. But suspicions gnawed at him, and he began noticing little things, the way his wife's laughter was a bit too bright when Connor was around, the lingering glances they shared when they thought he wasn't watching. One evening, he found a familiar cologne lingering on his wife's scarf, the same scent Connor wore. Doubt turned to dread, but he couldn't bring himself to confront them directly. As the months passed, Jide's fears grew. He noticed that his wife would often sneak off to answer her phone or disappear for hours without explanation. One evening, his curiosity got the better of him. He glanced at her phone, which she'd carelessly left on the kitchen counter. There were text messages from Connor, intimate, flirtatious messages that left no doubt. Heart-pounding, Jide continued reading, feeling a crushing weight settle on him as he discovered the truth. The affair had been going on for months, and even more painfully, they had been planning their meetings behind his back. His own brother had betrayed him, taking everything Jide held dear. As he read further, he was devastated to discover that the two children he thought were his own were actually Connor's. His entire life, the family he thought he had built, had been a lie. Confronting his wife, Jide's anger boiled over. She tried to deny it at first, but faced with the evidence, she broke down, admitting to everything. She had never loved Jide, she confessed, saying she had only married him for his family's wealth and status. When Connor had shown interest in her, she had been easily swayed, finding in him a thrill Jide could never offer. Jide felt his world collapse, realizing he had sacrificed so much for someone who had only seen him as a means to an end. Broken and humiliated, Jide filed for divorce, cutting ties with both his wife and his brother. He left the family home, drowning in regret and loneliness. The betrayal haunted him, and memories of Oma surfaced. He began to remember the purity and sincerity of her friendship, the warmth she had offered him freely, without expecting anything in return. This is the end of episode 3. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, comment, share and subscribe. Thank you for watching.